Broadcasting from an undisclosed location under a farm pond somewhere in the Midwest. Your host is Jim Crowley. This is Slickfish Radio. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Slickfish Radio. We are back in the saddle. What a crazy week last week. And by the way, I just want to let you know, those of you tuned in to the last show we did with Jose Cinco, holy cow, that was one of the best shows and biggest shows that we've ever had. And it was so much fun. And I'm looking forward to tonight. We got a young angler on here tonight. Great head on his shoulders. Drew Gill. I met him at an event we did earlier together this year in Springfield, Illinois. And this guy's traveling all over the place and got a really promising career ahead of him. And we're going to talk to him in just a little bit and just get a feel for, hey, you're 20 years old, man. You're doing this full time. You're doing the college career too. And just talk to him a little bit, because I think some of you young anglers, you're really going to benefit from this, because there's a lot of hard work that's involved when you're going to do something like this. It's not all about catching fish. And I'm sure Drew is going to tell us, a lot of that stuff. First and foremost, so hey, I had a really busy weekend, and I want to thank the places. I was actually the featured speaker at the Illinois Smallmouth Alliance this past Saturday in Glenville, Illinois, for their fundraiser there. What a great crowd. God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming out. It was so much fun to meet so many of you and have so much fun. And we talked smallmouth. We had a blast. We laughed and raised money for a great cause, for a great organization who's doing a lot for the smallmouth fishing in Illinois and has for years. So thank you so very much to the Illinois Smallmouth Alliance. So last night I was in Oswego, Illinois at the Oswego Fishing Fools, and I've been to that club numerous times in the past, and it was great to see everybody again. And again, we had a blast. We had a lot of fun. And so very thankful for that. I want to tell you about a couple upcoming events that we have. This coming Saturday, March 11th, is Shields in Springfield, Illinois. It is their Fish Fest. This is their big event of the year, and BASS Elite Pro Pat Schlapper is going to be there. I'm going to be there. There's going to be different reps and things like that from the industry. This is going to be a huge, huge event. There's seminars all day long, and they're free. Plus, there's going to be great sales, and Shields is stacked to the hill with new tackle, new rods, new reels, new fish, and everything. And just if you're looking for anything in the outdoors, Shields is the place to go. So I'm looking forward to that, and that is going to be on the 11th. And then March 15th, I will be back at Shields. It's a Wednesday night, and that is for the last of the Bass Academy classes that I'm teaching, and that will be on plastics. And any of you who are in the seminar that I give on Saturday, we'll talk a little bit about that. That's free as well, so I hope you can join us. So looking for, hey, Savannah Koba Outdoors just joined in. Hey, Savannah. Hey, Jim, how you guys doing? I want to thank first and foremost our sponsors that help bring this show to you all the time, and they are awesome with this. I want to thank American Tackle Company. I was just talking to the guys down in Florida today, already gearing up for ICAST. I mean, a classic is in a couple of weeks, and these guys are already gearing up for ICAST. There's going to be more great things coming from American Tackle, as always. Explore Lacrosse. We're already planning to go back there in May. You know how much I love the lacrosse region, and it's just always going to be hosting a bunch of tournaments and put so much into the sport of fishing and bass fishing. If you're ever interested in going anywhere to just have great scenery, in my opinion, some of the prettiest in the United States, and just a great place to go visit and fish, check out explorelacrosse.com. Those are definitely people that you want to hook up with. Again, talking about my friends at Shields. Going to be a great event this coming March 11th, this Saturday, and that is going to be Fish Fest, and that is going to be a blast. My friends at Cass King, everybody I think right now is, or most of them from Cass King, are down at Red Crest, and they're all pumped up about that. Got a couple of the Cass King pros are going to be in Red Crest, and then I am going to be with Cass King at the Classic, so we will fill you in more on that. There's going to be some big news coming about Cass King at the Classic, so I will keep you all up to date on that. And of course, we are powered, as always, by our friends at Dakota Lithium. Nothing lasts longer, nothing stronger, 11-year warranty. Find the best way to power your passion. You can easily do that. Find out with Dakota Lithium. Some more people chiming in. James Yarlam, there she is. Hey, it's my beautiful wife, Rhonda. Hi, sweetie. Thanks for chiming in. Kyle Barton, good evening, Kyle. Glad you are joining us. And more people are coming in. And thank you so much. And with that being said, I am going to bring in a gentleman who is road weary, Drew Gill. How are you, Drew?
I'm doing good, Jim. How are you?
Wonderful. Hey, thanks for if you're not really jet lagged, but you might be truck lagged. for as much as you've been on the road lately. And you're 20 years old, man. And I loved fishing when I was a young guy too. I was fishing tournaments, but you are traveling all over the place. Just before we really get into a little bit more about you, just give us a little span of what you've been doing the last couple of weeks, man.
I have been in Florida and Georgia fishing MLF college events. I fished the MLF College National Championship and fishing the first two MLF Invitationals of the year at Okeechobee and Clarks Hill.
Yeah, you are that. So, I mean, people always say, is your truck your office? And I think you're seeing that already. And you have probably for a couple of years already. That your truck's got to be comfortable no matter what you drive because you spend a lot of time in it, don't you?
Oh yeah, and the truck that I've been driving, been fortunate enough to drive this year, both for college and for the invitationals that I'll be driving for the Toyotas. Campbellsville University School I fish for, they allow me to use one of the school trucks schools purchased to drive in for all of my tournaments, which has been a huge blessing because my truck it's on its last leg. It's got like 230,000 miles on it, and the school really stepped it up with that for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it's very cool that the schools are doing stuff like this. And it's got to be, like you said, it's a blessing for sure. When they probably told you that, you're like, oh, good, because I don't know if I can make it to Walmart and back, man. I'm not. So it might be a good thing to do it. So tell us a little bit about Drew Gill. How did you get into fishing? And then when did this progress to you like, you know what, I'm going to have to work hard, but this is what I want to do. I just want to know more about you. And so does the audience.
So I started fishing when I was at a very young age. Came from a family that always went fishing, but it wasn't necessarily bass fishing or even competitive bass fishing. We'd just go fishing. We'd fish for crappie, bluegill, bass a lot of times too, but it wasn't like it was, in the competitive sense that I've turned it into now. It was in a 16-foot aluminum boat. I mean, grew up fishing out of that boat until I was 16. And when I turned 16 is when I kind of took off with it. I was like, okay, I can travel around now and do a little bit of fishing. And in 4 months into having my driver's license, I was like, okay, I want to do this. And I went out, found a 2001 Ranger went, got a job, got a loan for that boat, paid it off, and bought my first boat. Still the same boat I'm running now. Had a motor blow up on me and repowered it. But I started off fishing high school tournaments. I got 1 year high school fishing in before COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I didn't get my senior year of high school fishing. So it was kind of a gap year where I just went fun fishing. I went to Kentucky Lake and Cumberland and Gunnersville and St. Clair and Lake Lanier. Just went to some places around that I knew people that I could stay with and save some money going to. Got a little bit of experience and jumped into college fishing. And going into college fishing, I just thought it would be a cool experience fishing a lot of these different fisheries, getting to travel all over the place with the college, paying for it, and getting to catch largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass all over the country. And after a few events, I discovered that I actually was pretty good at it. And that's when I fully invested. Every dime, every ounce of effort. I mean, from doing school until midnight, getting homework done just so I can go fish a tournament on the weekend to scheduling events. I mean, every week or every other week for the last 3 years, it's been an absolute whirlwind. I got the opportunity to fish the Toyota series last year. I had a family friend that put up the money for me to fish those events and got to fish the Toyota series, fished those events, qualified for the Toyota series championship. And I ended up finishing third at the Toyota championship. And that was where
Awesome.
my career kind of took a big turn. Now we're here fishing two divisions of Toyotas, college events, college championships, and the MLF invitationals this year.
So are you averaging like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night? Is that kind of?
There are times, especially in the summer tournaments, where that
Sure.
happens. Like you just got long practice days, homework, and the early summer tournaments when school's still going on, or even into August, September. But yeah, even this time of year, it's tough. Really, the toughest was this last month and a half because I was not home at all. Didn't have any downtime, just tournament to tournament to tournament to tournament, and had half of my semester that I had to do online with events going on.
And that's pretty impressive because I think, I've been and obviously I'm much older than you, but I've got the question asked, well, how do you find time to do that? Well, when it's a passion, and this is going to be good coming from a much younger man too. When you have passion and you have drive, you make it work, don't you?
You have to. I mean, if
Right.
you want to do this at this level, you have to make it work, or it's going to work you over,
Right.
because
Great
you're
way to
not going
put
to
it.
survive fishing at this level with half dedication on the fishing side, or with half dedication on getting things done ahead of time. Because if you don't get things done ahead of time and aren't prepared coming into these events, you end up wasting a lot of time doing a bunch of menial tasks that you shouldn't be doing when you should be practicing. And if you don't do it all the way on the fishing side, the fishing's going to kill you, because you're going to get tired of just getting beat by every fishery you go to, and nobody enjoys that.
No, that's not fun. You hear the saying once in a while, it's just fun being out there. Well, when you're a tournament angler, or when you're making show, I was a tournament angler. I still fish some small ones, but even when you make a show, yeah, it's fun being out there, but it's nowhere near as much fun as when you're getting stuff done that
Oh,
you need to get done.
oh yeah.
That is a lot more fun. And we look at it, you and I look at it the same way for different reasons. You still have to go out and you have to produce. That's your job and it's my job. And you have to get that stuff done. What are you majoring in school? What are you doing?
So going into college, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my career. Really knew deep down that I wanted to do bass fishing as a career, but
Sure.
I chose business marketing. It's
Excellent.
probably the most applicable to the fishing industry in the light
Excellent.
we see it today. So that's the major that I have currently.
Yeah, and that is, and you've already seen that. It's just a little bit of time I talked to you in Springfield. You could tell your demeanor, the way you present yourself. It's business. It's business. We love to get what we love to fish, and we love to do that. But fishing is a business.
It absolutely is, and that's the biggest realization I've had over the last year, with fishing at a higher level, having the higher entry fees, the travel fees,
Mm-hmm.
all working with sponsors. It's a lot, and if you
Yep.
don't view it from a business sense, saying, hey, every opportunity that I have to interact with other people in this industry is me presenting myself in a professional sense, then you're going to burn a lot of bridges that you didn't even know you had.
Right. Right. That's exactly it. And I was asked, I was at an event a couple of weeks ago, and I was asked by a young man, a little bit younger than you. And he said, well, I love to fish. That's what I want to do for a living. I said, okay, are you going to college? And he said, well, I'm thinking about it. And I said, well, that's good. I mean, I know plenty of guys who still got to that level. But I said, what are you thinking about doing in college? He goes, right now, I'm just thinking about fishing. And I said, okay. And his mom goes, what advice would you tell him to do? And the first thing I said, I go, one, you're either going to get a business marketing degree, or you're going to get something in fisheries biology. And he's like, well, I don't want to do that. And I said, well, in son, then you better just enjoy fishing, because that's all you're going to be doing in this industry. Because unless you're Kevin Van Dam or Jacob Wheeler, of the very two guys that can literally make it off their earnings, the rest of us and everybody else is going to have some kind of business sense, because what you are in now is the business of fishing, not
Mm-hmm.
just fishing. And I bet you're seeing that more, kind of just like what you said, but you're seeing that more and more every day, aren't you?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've seen it a lot this spring. Last year had a really good season, and so in theory,
Right.
could have survived off of winnings, off of tournament earnings. But this year, first two tournaments out of the gate with the invitationals, didn't make a check in either. And
Yep.
it's so important to have a good financial base behind you with your sponsors,
Sure.
and with people that support you. Because if you don't set yourself up right on the business side of it, then if the fishing side isn't always going the way you want it to go, things are going to spiral downhill really quickly.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And that's some of the stuff I want to talk to you a little bit about when we come back, because one, I'm very grateful that you took the time to be on the show tonight. And one of the reasons I wanted you to be on is because I saw in you right away somebody who's both not only the fishing talent, but the ability to do well in the business. And you're just getting started as far as meeting people goes. And that the longer you do this, the more and more and more. And I'm sure you've probably already found out already that the industry is very big, but it's extremely small. And everybody knows just about everybody, or you and I are probably within one person of knowing somebody that that's just how it goes. And the
Yeah,
longer you
no
do
doubt.
this, yeah, the longer you do this, that's just how it's going to be. I want to talk a little bit when we get back. We're going to take a little break, about 2 minutes and 2 seconds here, maybe a little bit longer. I want to come back and talk to you about some of your fishing strategies when you approach a new bodies of water, and then we'll get into a couple other things. But looking forward to talking to you about that. So, as we always tell everybody, we will be back in just two and more talking with Drew.
American Tackle is home to the award-winning microwave line control system. Rod blanks to reel seats, ferrules to finish, grips to guides. They are committed to the very best in rod building components. Find out more, americantackle.us. With fishing beyond your expectations, indoor and outdoor activities, a vast variety of places to eat, drink, and stay. Discover your next adventure between the bluffs. ExploreLaCrosse.com. Located in Springfield, Illinois' largest selection of sports and sportswear, hunting, fishing, specialty shops and services, a 65-foot Ferris wheel, 16,000-gallon saltwater aquarium, and industry-leading knowledgeable employees. You don't take chances at Shields, ever. Go to Shields.com. Achieving affordable innovation through novel concepts and in-house ingenious designs. Cascading cost-effective e-commerce practices directly market to consumers, cutting costs by 30% or more on average. Affordable innovation, superior quality. Casking.com. Believing quality is measured by lifespan and harnessing their unique chemistry and engineering know-how. Dakota Lithium lasts 4 times longer, powering your passion with an 11-year warranty. Find out more, DakotaLithium.com.
Slick Fish Radio with Jim Crowley can be seen and heard on Roku, Fire TV, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iTunes.
Come here. Get in here. Yeah. Nice fish right there. Hi, I'm Jim Crowley. Make sure you catch my show, Jim Crowley Outdoors, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, exclusively on Wired to Fish TV. Look for Jim Crowley Outdoors on Wired to Fish TV on free ad-supported streaming TV, including Plex, that can be downloaded in the App Store at Apple TV, Roku, Samsung, and others.
Back in the saddle here on Slick Fish Radio, and of course my guest is Drew Gill. Drew, how now the tournaments you said this year were a little tough getting going. But when you come to a lake, if you would, and I know everyone is different, every body of water is different, but do you have a strategy that you kind of live by? Like, hey, I'm going to have a plan. This is my plan, and this is what I'm going to start doing. What is your thought? Basically, what I'm asking is, what is your thought process?
Okay, so the thought process in breaking down a new fishery, first you're kind of looking for, okay, what type of fishery is this? You know, you have your lowland reservoirs like the TVA lakes, Eufaula, Sam Rayburn, a lot of East Texas lakes where you have a lot of creek channel, main river channel impacts where you see a main river that snakes through the lake, but it's not the whole basin. And then you have most of your lakes that are like highland reservoirs where you have a very, very deep basin and you don't really have a major snaky river channel. And so places with snaky river channels, it tends to imply more of a current impact and more, tight channels for the fish to move versus in lakes with basins, they tend to spin more. But really, I'm first trying to analyze, okay, what type of fishery? Is it lowland reservoir? Is it highland reservoir? Is it a Great Lake? Is it a Florida lake? And then from there, I'm starting to dissect it. Okay, what time of year is it? And so you've got, your summer, fall, winter, and then all your phases of the spawn, which are almost like trying to extrapolate 2 seasons into one explanation. But then I'm going to break it down in, okay, what phase are they in? And then I'm going to break it down by the weather that I have for that week. So if I'm fishing a tournament, say I've got the Toyota at Grand Lake next week. Grand Lake, I've done the averages. Water temperature is 49. Air temperature is supposed to average 51 over the next week. So it's not going to come up much. Water's still pretty low. There's a little bit of current flowing through, some clean water down lake. Water's, high 40s, right around 50, and it's springtime. So like I look at that and I go, okay, I'm doing like 3 things. I'm throwing a jerkbait, I'm throwing an Alabama rig, and I'm throwing a crankbait. And that's what I'm doing the whole time. That's the whole game plan. And, there's tournaments like that where you can bet your life on it because the weather's not changing much. You already know the water temperature. I'm always paying big attention to water temperature because water temperature this time of year can a lot of times be the deciding factor in whether you get bit or not. And water temperature, people look at it as a number, but this time of year, water temperature is not a number, it's a trend. Because if my water is 58 here in Illinois right now, if it's 58, I'm probably ecstatic. But you got to look at the trend. say I'm on a 1 mile long lake and my water's 58, but 2 days ago when it was 70 degrees, it was 62. That's not warm anymore. That's cooling water.
It's
So when I'm
cooling off,
breaking
right.
somewhere down, especially this time of year, you are always looking for the trends. You're not looking for, weather, water temperature, water level, current flow. It's not a number, it's a trend. So I'm going to figure out what kind of fishery I'm on. I'm going to figure out what time of year I'm in, and I'm going to figure out what my weather trend is. So am I going from less current to more current to less current? Is the water coming up? Is the water going down? Is it getting warmer as a trend, or is it getting cooler as a trend, regardless of what the number actually is right now? And from there, I'm going to kind of make an assumption on what's going to happen. What is happening in that lake at this time due to these conditions? Your normal trends. Say I was on a TVA lake right now and we had a warming trend and the water was coming up. I'm looking for that first push of fish coming up shallow. If I'm on a Florida lake right now, it's really warm down there. Most of the fish have already spawned. I'm looking for that first push of fish going out. Always fishing that, that incoming trend. You don't want to fish the fish that are leaving. You want to fish the fish that are coming to you. And so in that, I'm always trying to essentially make an educated guess before I even get where I'm going as to what's going on. Because if you start with no guess, you're trying to guard too much. And so I'm going to go with my educated guess. I'm going to show up to this fishery and I'm going to pick the best section of the lake for that bite. So say I'm going to a TVA lake and I want high water. I want upcoming water. There's the lake's coming up. I want dirty water. I'm going to look upriver. I'm going to look in the upper half of the lake.
Right.
If that's the pattern I'm wanting to chase, I'm going to match the part of the lake to the pattern.
Right.
Because say I'm trying to throw a jerk bait. If I'm trying to throw a jerk bait, I'm not going upriver.
Right.
I'm not going up lake. I'm going as close to the dam as I can get, as close to the clean water as I can get, as close to the fish that set up the way I want to catch them where they live.
Right, and especially when you're talking about jerkbait or any lure for that thing, like you said, going closer to the dam, you're gonna do the best you can with water temperature and water clarity. And the clearer that water is going to be is where I'm going to look for that jerkbait bite. Because I'm like you, I love throwing a jerkbaits, mostly for smallmouth, but this time of year, I like what you said, and we got to say hi to some people because holy cow, there are people coming in here. Pat Bowden from St. Louis. Pat, you need to talk to Drew about your event that you do that we held this past year. And he'll probably get a hold of you because Drew, I think, would love it. And I think the kids would love to see him. And the other thing, Diehard Angling, love to see guys like me blowing it up. That's great. You darn right. Rick Reed, agreed. Need business side to be successful. No doubt. Looking forward to him, see what he wants to bring to the industry side of it as well as to the weekend angler. Very cool comment. That was neat. And Jay Beffa just came in. He's from St. Louis too. Evening, Jim and Drew. Yeah, guys, you're going to be hearing more from him. And one of the reasons I like how you explained everything is because I liked what you said about having an idea what you're going to do. And there's a difference between having an idea and a plan and having a preconceived notion, which can be a flat out freaking train wreck. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to catch him this way. Well, you can go in with the plan that this is how you want to catch him, but you also have to be willing to adapt that things are going to change.
Absolutely.
And in most cases, what you've seen, and I've seen it over the years, and I know you have, especially at this level, things change all the time.
Things are going to change, and that's you got to take that as a given. And so if I'm going in there with a plan, there's a reason I match the part of the lake that I'm fishing in to the pattern I want to find. Because if I'm looking for pattern A, and I say, okay, the best place in the lake to look for this pattern is kind of in the middle part of the lake. I want some stain water. I want some shallower water, but I don't want it up in the dirt, and I don't want it gin clear. And I go in that section and try and do that thing, and in 4 or 5 hours, it's not working at all. I'm not seeing fish. I'm not getting bit. I'm going to bail. Yeah. Because if you match the should be with the other should be, if you match what they should be doing with where they should be doing it, and that's not happening in 4 or 5 hours, you can bail a lot quicker when you do the should be's first.
Right.
Always do the should be's first, and then we can move, a couple steps forward or a couple steps back. Because the issue that we run into as anglers, especially this time of year, we're always looking for the new trend in the spring. The water's coming up, the water temperature's coming up, the water's getting dirty. We're always chasing, they should be pulling up. They should be pulling up. Oh, they should be on bed. Oh, they should be fry guarding. And we're almost always a little bit ahead of what's actually going on. And so if we go in with our plan, or what we're going to key in on, and it's not working, oftentimes I'm going to first take a step back. Say I'm going in and I'm going to planning on going and skipping docks. They're going to be pulled up on the black floats. It's sunny, it's warm. They should be there. And I do that for 4 or 5 hours and they're not, and the water's a little bit cooler than I expected to be. I'm probably going to pull out and say, okay, maybe they're on some of these transition rock banks leading into these pockets with these black floating docks. I'm not, the first step I'm going to take is back. And then if that's not working, I'm probably going to look the next step forward. Okay, they're going to the black floating docks. They're not there, and they're not on the transition banks leading in. Maybe they're in the back of the pocket. Maybe they're in 2 feet of water. It's start with the plan, step back, step forward. And if I don't triangulate them in there, I throw the whole thing out, and I'm going to start running around trying a bunch of crazy stuff. But generally speaking, if you do your homework, you have a good understanding of what type of fishery you're on, and you watch the weather leading up to it, they're either going to be on the plan, right before the plan, or right after the plan. They're going to be somewhere in that spectrum.
And excellent. And we're getting people coming in saying, great information. And that sounds good. Even Pat Bowden just said, he goes, hey, give him my information. So Drew, I will, you guys will really like hooking up together. This could be a good thing for you because it's a great event. But anyway, and that is what I like. I like that about the plan, the whole thing. One of the things that I've always said, fish only do 3 things. They swim, they eat, they make little fish. It's our job as anglers to make them to react to something. And you can force a bite all day, all long, and nothing's going to happen. You like you said, you can go a little bit forward, go a little bit back. I mean, I know when there's certain bodies of water I go to, just like you do, there's ways you would love to catch them because, if I can get them doing this is going to be great. The experience comes in is, okay, they're not doing that. Now you better have some backup things or figure out what they're going to do until they get to that point. When you made a great point about, looking at the averages or what I always say, I would rather have cold water that is going up than cold water and it's starting to drop down. Then that's just, it's going to give you what you said is trend. And I would rather have to see the trend. It's okay if the water's cold.
Yeah.
I can try to figure out how to catch them in 48, 49 degree water. I would like to see in the next couple of days if the trend starts going up, then they're putting the things a little bit more in our favor. If not, it's probably, like you said, going to get a little bit difficult and you have to adjust, right?
With pre-spawn fishing, man, I would rather have 46 degree water that 2 days ago was 42, than have 55 degree water that 2 days ago was 61.
100%. 100%.
It's all about the trend this time of year.
Let's talk a little bit about, before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about what you've noticed in the industry as far as a sponsor contact. Now, are there ones that you're working with that you found? Are there ones that came to you? Do you have a little bit of both? What are you seeing as your career is starting to blossom?
So, industry side of things, the biggest thing I've learned last year is that if you're at my level, you're fishing the invitationals, the Toyotas, if you're fishing the high level tournament sphere with high level entry fees, high level payouts, but you're not a big name, they're going to invest their money in a lot of other people if you don't advocate for yourself. And there's a lot of self-advocation that I had to do. I mean, almost all of my sponsors that I have right now were people that I went out and solicited. It was people that I was like, I love your product. I want to represent your product, and I would love it if you would, help me out in return with this dream that I'm wanting to pursue.
And that's great, and I think people can learn something from that. And I still have meetings with people. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years and I still have meetings every year with people that we're working with, and you will continue to do that every week, every month. The closer it gets to ICAST and the more you start doing that, and it's funny things usually don't happen at ICAST, but before and after they do. But what you see is people it's so refreshing. And I've had people say, it's refreshing when you come to the table and say, here's what I can bring to the table. Here's what I can bring to you. Not just like what you said right there, not just, hey, can you do this for me? But you go, hey, I can catch fish, but here's what else I can bring to the table. And like you said, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to tell them, hey, yeah, I can catch fish, but there's a lot more other stuff that I can do. And here's the stuff that I'm starting with. And if you found that approach productive, it's when you come in and go, hey, here's me. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I use your product. and I really feel I can bring something to the table. And I bet you've probably seen positive results from that, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this sport at this point in time has really become, for a reference, the fat guy in the little coat. There's a lot of people that are fighting for a lot of money right now. There's
Right,
a lot
sure.
of people that want to represent companies that they believe in. And so if you're not good at saying, hey, this is what I can offer you, this is what I can do in terms of fishing and social media presence, in the
Right.
way that you carry yourself at physical events like shows and expos and things
Sure.
like this podcast is, um, if you aren't clear about what you can bring to the table and they have to do guesswork on, okay, maybe they can do this, maybe
You're
they can
done.
do that,
Yeah.
you're done.
Right.
Because if you aren't Jacob Wheeler,
Right.
if you aren't Kevin Van Dam, if you aren't, a lot of these guys like Brandon Polnick, and you can't prove what you can do, they're just going to go find somebody that's already proven what they can do.
And what I think some of the younger guys do, because you're already, in my opinion, you're already talking well beyond your age, in a good positive way, in a good positive business way, very strongly. I've seen a lot, and I would say you've already got a great handle on that. You know what? You have the approach that, hey, I'm a young guy, I'm starting doing this, but here's what I can do this. And your best advantage is the more you continue, because with your passion, with what I'm seeing, and you have companies that can grow with you and do that, you're going to have the opportunity, a solid opportunity, Drew, to build long-lasting relationships, and that is what's going to help you continue to do as good as you're going to develop as anglers, no question in my mind. You're going to develop as an angler, and when you do that and you start adding these and you have that excellent attitude that you do already, that was one thing I noticed about you when I met you right away. It was that attitude right away, and it's a passion for the sport. I commend you. I think you're one of the best young men that I've seen in a long time, that I had the opportunity to talk with, and I'm glad that you took the time to come on the show today, because I see nothing but you keep that attitude and you keep fishing hard and strong with that passion. I see nothing but great things for you. And I truly, honestly, and I'm betting the people that are watching tonight are going to feel the same way. I pray that it's the best for you, because you're headed in the right direction. No question about it.
I appreciate that, Jim. I try to be passionate about everything that I do, especially within the sport. Nobody wants to see somebody that's dry and they're like,
Right.
yeah, this is what I do. This is my job. There are so many people that want to make this what they do. And there's so many people that I see that are like, this is my job. This is what I do. I can't wait for the off season. And there's so many people that are jealous of the situation that professional anglers are in, and saying, man, I would give anything to be there, to be that guy.
Yeah.
And one, a lot of people aren't willing to invest themselves time and effort wise.
Agreed.
And two, there's a lot of guys that are there that it's just their job. It is just what they do. And there's so many people that want to be there, that would love to be there in their shoes, that would be just horrified to see how many guys are just there because it's just their job. And so I never want to be that guy. I always want to be that guy that's passionate about what I do, that loves the sport of bass fishing, and that exudes it everywhere that I go and talk to people about it. I want to be the guy that they're like, hey, that guy, he knows it, he enjoys it, and he loves it.
Right. No, I'm 100% on board, dude. I'm 100% on board with that, because you're like me. I love what I feel God has blessed me to do. I love to do it. I love to talk to people. I love to have fun. The bottom line in this industry, if you have fun, if you're honest, you have integrity, you have fun, you get it done, you're going to be successful. You're going to be successful. And I think you're doing that in an excellent way. Hey, before you go, and again, thank you so much for taking your time to join us tonight.
Absolutely. It was a blast.
Where can people find out more about Drew Gill? Because I want him going there. Let us know.
Okay. Drew Gill Fishing on Instagram, Drew Gill Fishing on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on YouTube, all under the same handle. I've got a lot of content coming out on YouTube, really trying to grow it. Instagram and Facebook starting to get somewhat established and getting some foothold, but it's still a work in progress. So I would love if you guys went and check me out there. It follows along with all my events, some little tidbits, some random tips and stuff on there. But I would love if you guys would follow along with my journey. It's been fun. There's a lot to come this year, for sure.
And it's just getting started. I already had Pat Boughton again say, he goes, hey, make sure you give him my information. So you guys will be talking on that. Drew, one, I will. Are you going to be at the Classic?
I will be at the Classic. Yeah.
Who are you going to be there with?
I will be there. I'm going to be there with Hook and more than likely with Ark. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be there.
That one was kind of last minute. I had been planning, and I was like, shoot, I've got an open week the weekend of the Classic, and I was like, I got to get there and got to be, representing my sponsors.
Sure. And I'll be in the Cast King booth. We've got some stuff going on there. So if we can run into one or the other, if anything, we'll run into a high five or whatever and hook up and hook up there for sure. But I sincerely appreciate you joining us in tonight and getting some more people to know you. And I'm looking forward to following your career. I know we're going to be talking more in the future. I think you're a great young man, and I think you got the passion, which I freaking love, for not only the sport, but the industry. And I think you're going to be damn good for it. And I'm proud to have you on the show. And thanks for taking the time to be here, my friend.
Thank you, Jim. It was a blast, and anytime.
Okay. Take care. Great kid. Great kid. That is, and when I met him in Springfield, that is one of the reasons I knew he was going to be good. There's just sometimes that you just see somebody that strikes you that this kid gets it. And I'm telling you right now, Drew Gill gets it. And on top of that, he's an awesome, awesome angler, and he's going to do nothing but get better. And I'm glad so many of you chimed in tonight. And I'm sorry I didn't get to see everybody, but I get passionate about a young angler that is taking the sport seriously, wants to be a good representation for it. And Drew Gill is one of them. And I like the kid. And I pray to God he does well. Rick Reed's going to be at the Classic. Wonderful, Rick. That's going to be awesome. Make sure you come in the Cast King booth. Mark Dyer said he's going to follow Drew. That's awesome. Savannah Kolb Outdoors, great interview. Thanks, guys. Pat, as always, you're right. The kid's destined for greatness. I think so, too. I love having young anglers on, and I think they're a blessing to the sport. This is what we want. This is what we need to keep this sport growing. And thank you to all of you again for tuning in. Ray Larson, hey, Ray, how you doing? Everybody, thank you for joining in. As we say, this show continues to grow, and it is because all of you, we're getting viewers from coast to coast, and our little show is starting to grow very, very well, especially on Roku and Fire TV. And but I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Hey, let's put up a couple discount codes for you all, as always. My friends at American Tackle, you can go to American Tackle and go to AmericanTackleAnglerProducts.com, put in that code JCO20, and you will get 20% off anything on their site. And for those of you interested, American Tackle is also looking for some pro staff people. Think you got what it takes? Think you can be as good as Drew, for example? Hey, you just want to get started? Why don't you fill out the application? It's for a job. Fill it out at AmericanTackleAnglerProducts.com. Find out more at American Tackle right there, so you can join their pro staff and put an application anyway. Or if you want to buy some products, there's JCO20 right there. My friends at Cast King, so much cool stuff coming up at the Classic. We're going to unleash some new stuff at the Classic. I'm so excited to be there. Big news coming out in the next couple of weeks for Cast King at the Classic. But if you want to get anything from Cast King and you want to get 20% off of anything at Cast King, go to CastKing.com, put in a code JC52AFF, and you will get 20% off of that. I want to thank again my friends at American Tackle Company, my wonderful friends. I'm very blessed. The sponsors of this show, a lot of them are very, very good friends, along with a lot of the people that I work with in the industry. And I'm so very, very grateful for that. And our shows continue to grow because, as I always say, because of all of you. So I am very grateful for all of you joining us as well. So thank you to American Tackle. Thank you to Explore Lacrosse. Shields in Springfield. Get the Fish Fest this weekend. We are going to have a blast in Springfield, Illinois. Our great friends at Cast King. And of course, as always, we are powered by Dakota Lithium. I will be on after the show to answer some of your questions and comments that I didn't get to live. But as always, I am so grateful for all of you being here. Until next time, I think we actually have another show next week that's going to be cool. You will see stuff on social media out there on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're looking for this interview with Drew Gill, it will be on Roku, Fire TV, Amazon Music, iTunes, and Spotify within the next couple days. Thank you to everybody at Facebook, and thank you to everybody at YouTube for joining us live tonight. God bless all of you. We'll see you soon.